My boyfriend is going to a cabin alone with another woman despite my objections.
Uh-oh, is this the cabin of love?
My ex, 25 male at the time, and I, 25 female at the time, started as friends at work, and our relationship was great. He was my best friend, but issues came up with his longtime female friends. They'd say, I love you, sit on each other's laps, touch each other in ways I felt were inappropriate. Despite expressing my discomfort and asking him to set boundaries, he couldn't. So I messaged the women myself out of frustration, which blew up the situation. By the way, this comes from Upper Class Habits, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So fast forward, my current boyfriend, 31 male, and I, 29 female now, also started as close work friends and developed a strong mutual relationship. We've been friends now for 8 months, officially dating for 4 months. He's a kind, giving person and sees serving others as part of his faith, which I admire. But a situation with his female friend, Olivia, 30 female, is bringing back those same feelings of being second. Olivia, who lives in another state, my boyfriend's home state, where he moved from almost a year ago and knows about me, invited herself for his birthday weekend this Memorial Day weekend and booked a cabin just for the two of them, Friday to Monday. She's shown no interest in meeting me, and though I was initially supportive, I now feel excluded and confused. That's weird.
That is weird.
She booked a cabin just for the two of them.
For his birthday week? Like no one else gets to see him for his whole week of his birthday?
Friday through Monday. He said multiple times that he doesn't even want to go, that he feels trapped. Suspects she might have romantic feelings and wouldn't normally hang out with her this long, but he's going anyway because he feels bad. She has chronic health issues and recently lost her dog. I'm angry and sad. I don't expect to be the center of anyone's universe, but I can't understand why he'd prioritize someone he doesn't even seem close to over me, especially when I've been clear about how this impacts me. I want to be understanding and supportive, but I also want to feel respected and prioritized. How do I approach this without trying to control the situation or sacrificing my own emotional well-being? And there are some comments and an update, but what say you?
Invite yourself. If she invited herself, then you could do the same. You'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, a cabin for a weekend? That sounds like a great way to spend time with each other and for me to meet her.
Yeah, I think you go to your boyfriend, you say, yeah, I would love to go.
Yeah.
And then if she's like, oh, well, it's just supposed to be the two of us, then you're like, oh, okay, so.
Why?
So yeah, why is it just supposed to be the two of you for
Because-
your whole birthday weekend?
Yeah. Like you're going to a cabin. Usually if you're like going away or something like that, you are planning activities. Do you have any
Yeah.
activities planned?
Yeah. What's going on in
Besides-
this cabin?
Doing each other?
Ooh. Commenter. If he feels trapped and has suspicions, then it seems like a trap. Therefore, you ought to go too. It's his birthday weekend. Why wouldn't you be there? Good luck. OP says she told him that she doesn't want to be put in a position to have to explain her chronic health conditions to someone she doesn't know. Mind you, her entire health history is regularly posted about on her public Facebook and doesn't want to have to pretend she's okay when she isn't. I speculate this might be more in regards to her potential feelings about he and I being together. Commenter says, so he feels bad if he disappoints her, but is okay with disappointing you? That tells you all you need to know about his potential as your boyfriend. OP says, see, I don't know if it's about disappointing her so much as he, and this is going to sound awful because it is, sees her as somewhat of a charity case. If he thinks he's in a position to help someone, he wants to, but I think she's unnecessarily leaning on him as a primary support, even though she has so much support locally, and he's enabling her behavior by agreeing to this. Commenter says he's still putting her before you. It's especially bad since you said he suspects she's interested in him romantically. This is his chance to set her straight. Instead, his behavior is keeping her engaged. And Opie says, that was my thought, but I was dreading the facts. Commenter says, maybe try telling him the truth that if he goes on this trip, it'll be the end of your relationship. If he won't put her in her place, even when he's uncomfortable, then she'll always be around. Do you really want to put up with her forever? It's only been 4 months and you can already see it coming. Is it worth it? Opie says, I don't think so, and I think this is definitely proving to be a litmus test. I can't stand to be someone who doesn't learn from her past experiences. Commenter says, he thinks she has romantic feelings for him, he doesn't want to disappoint her, and it's his birthday. Agreeing to a weekend in a cabin alone with her will do nothing to help the situation. He's okay with disappointing you. Run. don't walk away from him. Yes, it's only been 4 months, but he's in a relationship. He shouldn't be spending the weekend alone with someone that has feelings for him, especially when that someone isn't his girlfriend. OP responds, funny enough, he and I have both talked about how there's no way in heck he'd ever be with someone like her romantically. His last girlfriend of 7 years also cheated on him, so he has literally no tolerance for cheating, so I'm actually not worried about that at all. It's purely the disrespect I feel from her, whether intentional or not, and his seeming disregard for my feelings given that I've expressed all of this to him. I don't want to be the person to tell him to do the wienerish thing and cancel last minute, even though I was almost willing to suggest I pay her for his half the cabin so he wouldn't need to go. Commodore says, no offense, but you are being so naive. Are you sure his ex really cheated on him? If he was cheated on, he wouldn't try to downplay what it means spending days with another woman alone. He's going to a romantic getaway with a woman who he knows has feelings for him. She may not be his type. That wouldn't stop most guys from sleeping with a woman, though. You need to pay attention to his actions rather than his words.
True.
He's playing both of you. Who knows what he's saying about you to her? Is she being told that you are a charity case? Opie says, I'm confident about his ex cheating for many reasons, and I think that's why he didn't say no, because he knows nothing would happen in that regard. So he thinks it's a non-issue to go because I have nothing to worry about. Again, that was never my concern, and I think his past experience is giving him tunnel vision on the issue being cheating rather than the disrespect of the entire situation. And there is a mini update in response to a commenter saying she's really stretching for excuses for him. So I just got the diagnosis from the doctor. It turns out that I actually suffer from a chronic condition called delusion. There is an update though. I offered potential solutions. I offered compromises. I was clear with what was actually bothering me and that I would never put him in this position. I told him he would be so incredibly hurt, and rightfully so, if I did this to him. I told him he could decide for himself what he wants to do, and I told him what I wouldn't be tolerating from a partner. He acknowledged and agreed that everything I was saying was true. Then he went. He's like, yeah, I totally agreed that it would be disrespectful if I went, so I will be going.
Yeah, and that's when you say, okay, I'm out of there.
Because he wants to get out of the habit of being so flaky, and he made a commitment, so he has to go.
I want to know, like, if he's making any plans with OP for his birthday. Like, is this the only thing he's going to be doing with his birthday?
It seems like it.
Right? Like,
but the only thing that you should be doing for your birthday and any other day is listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search a book of Storytime. Any further thoughts about OP's plan?
I just worry. I feel like there's like less to this story that I'm happy with. I really hope that the rest of the story has like some kind of answer.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
OP's just like this. The boyfriend leaves and she's just like, okay.
Yeah.
I texted him that I'll always love him, now only as a friend, like I told him from the very beginning. Now I'm not even sure I can or want to. Love is a choice. The opposite of love is indifference. And he's all but told me he's indifferent to me, both as a partner and as a friend. Thanks for the tough love, Reddit. I'd rather be angry at him, at myself for not seeing this coming, than be sad when he's feeling absolutely nothing. And edit to add, yes, I ended it.
All right.
Dang, wow. I can't even think about him or the situation without being angry. I look forward to when the anger turns to indifference. In some of OP's comments, commenter says, good on you, OP. Did he respond to your text? Sorry, but there's no way that he did was the right choice. He dismissed your feelings completely. He never gave a crap. Opie says he very ignorantly replied, does this mean you're ending the relationship?
Oh my God.
And then patronizingly said, I admire you for putting up your boundaries. It's more than I've certainly done. Commenter says, why would you love this a-hole even as a friend after he did this to you? Just go no contact and forget this person. He doesn't care about you at all. Opie says, in between sending that and now, he replied with nothing but patronizing support. For my ability to set the boundaries, he couldn't. He fully acknowledged what happened and responded with indifference. That's all, since it made it impossible for me to want anything to do with him. Commenter says, really just cheating on you full on in front of your face, huh? What a POS. Opie says, I speculate he feels content because he didn't lie about anything. Commenter says, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He can't say no to a holiday weekend getaway because her dog passed away. Next, it will be he couldn't turn down her offer to bang all weekend because she was sad about her dog.
Exactly.
Tell him to enjoy his holiday weekend, but after the holiday, he'll need to find himself a new girlfriend. I spent way too much time married to someone who prioritized helping and pleasing other people and putting me on the back burner. It will never get better. OP says, I am laughing even admitting this, but my last ex, his friend's dog had also just passed away. I think I need to start being more observant about whether my future partner's friends have any dogs that might be on the brink of death.
Oh my gosh.
And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Wow. Weird coincidence or perhaps a lie.
Yeah. I'm glad she's out of there. It's only 4 months in. You're fine.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Pay attention to actions over words, people.
Agreed, man. Agreed.
People. My boyfriend keeps hinting that he wants to propose, but he's not monogamous.
Propose to who?
Looking for input from people who are/have been in non-monogamous relationships. I'm 29 female in a 3-year relationship with 36 male. He has hinted a few times at marriage, but there is one thing holding me back. About 6 months into our relationship, he revealed to me that him and his ex-wife had tried swinging a few times, starting a year into their marriage, and then a few times over the 7 years that they were together. By the way, this comes from Hufflepuffs Are Better, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I didn't know much about the lifestyle, so I started listening to some non-monogamous hosted podcasts and looking into it more to see if it was a lifestyle that I could ever consider. For him, he said that it was an exciting, hot thing about the relationship, and there was healthy communication, and that it made them, he and his ex, stronger and less likely to ever want to cheat. After some deep inner reflection, I realized that it wasn't something that I wanted for myself. There are many reasons, but one of the bigger ones is that I'm a/demisexual. I only experience spicy related attraction through deep bonds. So having spicy sleep with people that I don't have a strong relationship with doesn't sound fun or hot for me. And I don't want to share my partner. So I guess also because I'm clearly monogamous with that kind of mindset. LOL. In bed, he began sharing more and more of his fantasy about taking me to a non-monogamous club. And since it was during steamy time, I went along with his fantasy. It's natural to share fantasies in bed. And even if it's not my thing, I believe in letting my partner play out a fantasy. But he started suggesting it outside of the bedroom casually. And once I came to the conclusion that it wasn't for me, I talked with him around month 9 of our relationship. I shared my concern that since swinging is one of his big fantasies and the thing that he has enjoyed doing in the past, could we ever have a future where he still is satisfied if it wasn't my thing? He was very understanding and sweet and assured me that he could be happy without a non-monogamous relationship. For a year, I felt pretty solid with this response. But as it continues to be his only fantasy that he shares in bed, it is hard for me to fully believe that he'll be happy marrying me. The other day, he started talking in bed about how he was turned on by a thought that he had. I asked him to share, and he said that he pictured me giving another.
Whoa!
Doing
hey,
some
what's
spicy-
going on here? What the heck?
Oh, man.
Whoa.
Do something spicy to someone.
Yeah, do some spicy related activities to someone
Is
else.
it doing like
another man.
acrobatics?
I asked if he was doing anything to me in this fantasy or just watching. He said that there was another girl doing some spicy activities while I'm with another guy. I know that it's his spicy hobby, but it's hard for me to hear from that he's dreaming of another girl pleasuring him while he's currently having spicy sleep with me. And that is what turned him on in the first place. He brings up swinging in about 2 out of 5 of our spicy sleep encounters. I have had 2 previous partners, and they were more of the "you're the only one for me" kind of guys, and it made me feel so special. So when he does this, I end up feeling like I'm not enough. I know that it's a monogamous mindset and my own insecurity. I share my insecurity about not being spicy enough for him, but I avoid saying this because of those things that he says in bed, because then he wouldn't be able to live out that spicy fantasy at all, and I don't want to take that away from him. He is very open about all the things that he and his ex-wife did, and I like that he feels comfortable to share without thinking that I'll shame him or get upset. But honestly, it makes me feel like I'm lacking. He used to have 3 ways. He would do swaps, and basically all of his biggest spicy hobbies he got to play out in real life. But with me, he can't. I truly love him and we're happy in every other sense. We have now lived together for a year and he wants me in his whole future. My question for anyone in this non-monogamous community: if you happened to fall for a monogamous person, do you think you could be satisfied leaving the life, or would you possibly regret or resent marrying down the road? Or just have any thoughts to share in general? Anything might help me work my way to a conclusion. He and his ex only did it a couple of times a year, and it wasn't that big a part of their life, but a very happy one. I ask you because I can't speak to it with my friends. I think that they would form a bad view of him because they are all monogamous and probably would see it as him being driven by lust and not loving or respecting me. You guys have a different mindset on love and spicy sleep, and I'm hoping for any insight or suggestions of how and if this can work long term. And we do have some relevant comments. East Bay Fun Couple says, is it possible that it can work out? I suppose. But since he keeps bringing it up, it's a valid concern and it would absolutely give me pause. This is something that you both need to work out before getting married, in my opinion. OP responds, thank you for the validation. I'm naturally a person who feels bad for feeling bad and tries to avoid any conflict. So it helps to hear that it is something that should give pause. Now, I just got to figure out how to bring it up and try to work it out in a way that works for both of us, if possible. Thanks again. And the top comment, Damon Pinky, you need to hear this. This is not going to work out. He has again and again made it clear that that lifestyle is his number one fantasy and has used steamy time to nudge you into it, and for years not given up on the idea despite you being clear about your preferences. If this was purely an imaginary fantasy, it could be overcome, but he has actually tasted blood, and unfortunately that never goes away. Basically, you'll be marrying him expecting that he'll change, and he'll be marrying you expecting that he'll finally convince you to flip to the other side. Basically, a relationship built on false expectations. Heck, he might even be thinking marriage is somehow going to solve this dilemma in his favor. I can guarantee you that once you're married, he'll float the idea of an open marriage. You need to exit. And we do have an update of 19 months later.
Dang, man.
Wow. Do we agree with those comments?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's already trying to convince you. You already don't want to do this. I think that going into marriage with this guy's best idea.
Exactly.
Until you, I mean, you guys haven't even seemingly really communicated about all of your thoughts on this either. Like, do you even know what he's expecting in this marriage? Does he want an open marriage? Do you know that for sure? You know?
It feels like if they did communicate, it wasn't like all of the feelings.
No.
Or they're both like,
she's telling us all this feelings that doesn't seem like she's told him.
But we do have an update 19 months later. Updating because I've had a few people in my DMs over the months asking how it worked out because they're in a similar situation. We did break up a few months after my post. Whoa, okay.
Dang.
I had showed him my original post and talked with him about the unsureness that I had been feeling. His response was, sure, if tomorrow you told me you wanted to swing, I'd be all for it, but I don't need that in our relationship. Despite his words, over the next few months, our relationship felt off. Both of us were no longer comfortable, it seemed, mentioning marriage anymore. And while we were still enjoying each other's company and traveling and doing things we loved, the love and security feeling wasn't there. I would bring up that we didn't seem as connected, but he would say that it was my anxiety talking in my head. We went to a Halloween party with our friends who are all in their 30s to 40s and have been married anywhere from 5 to 15 years. The couple who was hosting the party were mid-30s with 3 kids. At the party, the husband, I'll call him Trey, started flirting heavily with all the girls. He was very wasted, most of us were at some level of intoxication, and was being very touchy-feely. This was extremely unusual behavior for him. His wife, who we'll call Kayla, seemed a bit embarrassed, but was also giving us the okay with what was going on. We could tell to some degree that they must be opening up their relationship in some way. Well, towards the end of the night, Trey began to make out heavily with a girl in the corner of the pool who had been invited by them, but the rest of us had never met before. Her husband was socializing nearby, but he knew what was happening, so we all just shrugged it off as consenting adults and whatnot. However, when Kayla came outside, it became obvious that she wasn't okay with what she saw. She and Trey disappeared from their own party for a while, and we all were wondering if we might need to head home and give them some privacy. They came outside, though, and we could tell that Kayla wasn't okay. Trey started apologizing publicly to everyone and said, we've gotten into swinging, but it's very new for us. Kayla and I promised that we would not do things with others without one of us clearly giving the okay. We invited this couple over tonight with the potential plans of going further with them. I effed up and started initiating deeper while Kayla was inside the house and unaware and not present. Kayla privately later apologized to us, saying that she had not planned on our group knowing that they were swinging and had wanted to keep it private. So when Trey had started flirting with everyone and being touchy-feely in general, she had felt embarrassed that we were all so thrown off at this party that she had hosted for us. And then when she had come outside to him already initiating with the couple that they invited, it had broken the boundaries that she had set with him. I left the party upset for her. In my mind, Trey had cheated by breaking that boundary and in front of everyone who she had not wanted to know about their open relationship. This is her one friend group that she has, and I can understand not wanting to share that part of their lives with us since most of the group is monogamous. My boyfriend's response was, yeah, he effed up, but this is new for him, and it's like a kid in a candy shop. I mentioned to him how he had once said that a benefit of swinging was less likely to have cheating in a relationship. But that to me, this felt like cheating because if you set a boundary and break it with another person, that counts. It was a tense ride home. The next time we had spicy sleep in the middle of it, he started bringing up me kissing Kayla and then him kissing Kayla. I didn't want to bring up that this upset me while having spicy sleep because I just didn't know, because the people pleaser in me hates making people feel awkward or bad in the moment. So I brought it up an hour afterward that him bringing up Kayla didn't feel right, especially after how that party had gone. He didn't argue about it and said okay, but I could see from his shut down facial expression that he wasn't happy with my response. The next time we saw Trey and Kayla, they had the couple from the party over at a board game night. Looks like they had worked things out and I was happy for them. They were very flirty and kissing on the other couple, and while it was still strange and new to see, I was happy that they were happy. I was having a fun time with everyone, but I could tell that my boyfriend was very moody and everyone kept asking him if he was okay. In the middle of a board game, I had just started up with some friends. He came in and interrupted very moodily, saying, "You ready to go?" On the car ride home, I asked him what was up, and he was pretty shut down. It clicked with me that he was jealous of the swinging happening in front of him. When I asked him if that's what it was, he said, "I wouldn't say jealous." And I asked what he would say, but he said that he'd get back to me on it when he could put it into words. So I dropped it for then. But a few days passed and he wasn't showing signs of opening the conversation, and my anxiety started to grow until finally I brought it up again. He said, "It's just hard to see what I can't have right in front of me." Which I responded, "It's hard for me to see you mad and moody about it because I know that I'm the reason why. I'm the one keeping you from it. You say I'm enough, but then you do things that make me feel like I'm not really. Please be honest with me." He went back to saying that I was, and that it was my anxiety saying that. I asked what we can do to make our relationship work better because this wasn't working. He mentioned that I could initiate more in bed. I could understand that. While I'm a very responsive partner who never has turned down spicy sleep, I am not often the initiator. So I tried doing that and he turned me down on 5 separate occasions for reasons like, "You just vaped and I don't like vaping because it leaves a sweet artificial taste in your mouth." And he vapes a lot. I'm stressed with work. And there was one night that he was pleasuring himself in the shower and I asked if I could join, and he said that he'd come to the bed, but I said I would just get in the shower with him. It worked out and I feel gross. But he said that he wasn't interested in shower spicy sleep, so never mind.
Dude, he's moving the gold bar. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I want you to initiate more." And then when you try, he's like, no.
I could get his reasons, but it left me vulnerable because initiating has always been hard for me, and to keep getting turned down after he would ask me to try it more was hard. Then one night he said, "Take charge, do whatever you want with me, don't be shy about it. Whatever you want to do to me, just do it." I started giving him special kisses to stall because I was panicking in my head. What did he want? Because I felt like he was looking for me to do something particular. I've never been super shy in bed, so when he said those words, I felt like he was hoping for something new or different in particular. Climbing on top and doing the basic dirty talk didn't seem like enough for what he was asking. I stopped to tell him because I had never felt panicked during spicy sleep like this. And I said, "Hey, I know you might want me to take charge, but is there something specific you'd like?" And he got frustrated and said, "Just be dominating like I do for you." Well, what he does for me is some more aggressive stuff, but he has never expressed interest in that for himself, and I didn't think that that's what he actually wanted. So I asked, "Is there a video of what you want from me or specifics?" Because I don't want to dominate without knowing what it is you mean. He let out a frustrated sigh and said, "Never mind." I felt pretty crestfallen as a people pleaser and said, "I'm going to go get some air really quick." I went downstairs and went to Reddit to search how to dominate your man and get ideas and give myself a pep talk. I came back upstairs and heard him in the shower. So I opened up the door to hop in and give it a go and realized that he had already pleasured himself after I had left. I awkwardly got out of the shower and cursed myself on awkwardness. Looking back, I can't help but laugh at myself trying to make it work with the wrong person. Let's just jump forward to the breakup because this post is already so dang long. I sat him down and said that we're disconnected and not okay lately. And you say you want me, but I don't feel that from you, so I get the feeling that you don't know what you want. And he admitted that he wasn't sure and needed time. So I said, "After 3 years, if you don't know, then that's the answer I need. I know that we love each other, but we need to break up. This isn't it." He looked stunned. He began crying hard and asked me to stay in the same bed that night to hold me one last time. He cried the whole night while I comforted him, and he kept saying, "I know it isn't fair for you to have to comfort me like this, but thank you because I need you right now." He also said things like, I've been an idiot because I thought some things were important and then this happens and I actually see what's important. He began asking for another chance and I said that I wasn't sure I could give that because I'd lost trust in his love for me. He said that he'd prove it back with time.
No.
Well, in under a month,
No.
he said in bed, this month we're going to a spicy sleep club. I was cool with part 1, but not so much with part 2, but gave him the benefit of the doubt that the second part was his fantasy in bed since he knew my limits at this point. But he brought it up again next time we were in bed and I stopped him and said, we are at the weakest point of our relationship that we've ever been, and you really want to bring a spicy sleep club with other people into the mix? By the way, you can always keep us out of that mix by listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. It finalized for me the ending of Us, and I'm so glad that it did. Looking back, I can't believe that I stayed as long as I did because while he has the right to want what he wants, it was clear that he wasn't being honest with himself. He wants to be in a non-monogamous relationship, and that's okay. Just don't date a monogamous person and pretend otherwise. It was just hurting us both. I definitely grew from it because it made me realize what I wanted and needed in someone too. A year has passed and I'm so happy and in love with the right person. Okay. My anxiety has magically disappeared. Go figure. I feel like enough as a partner in every way. He's lighthearted, easy as breathing, and would do anything to make me happy. Which is great because I'm a giver too, so we never run the risk of using each other. He cherishes me and I cherish him. I didn't even know love could be this awesome. It's corny, I know, but for anyone out there that is wondering if you're with the right person, if you have to keep wondering, and if you always feel like you're not enough, please be brave enough to leave what you know and go be happy elsewhere. And there are some relevant comments. Horror Paper 6574 says, first of all, none of this is normal swinging behavior. Trey and Kayla are effing idiots. Trey is a cheater and massively dismissive of his wife's boundaries and feelings at a vanilla party. I know this isn't the purpose of the post, but they brought you into their spicy sleep life without your permission by engaging in swinging in front of you. Again, at a vanilla party. And your boyfriend's, it's no big deal response was horrific. Breaking your spouse's boundaries is a very big deal, a huge one. In fact, if my husband or myself had done that, we'd have completely stopped swinging and refocused on our marriage. I'm so glad that you two realized your relationship couldn't work. Your ex was a giant walking red flag and not a good representation of a non-monogamous relationship who wants a healthy and respectful relationship. OP responds, completely agree with everything you said. I didn't go into it since it didn't pertain to the story, but later Kayla and Trey and the couple that they chose got real messy because the girl in the other couple set her boundaries of not forming too much emotion because they started buying each other's kids gifts and just becoming more than what she wanted. What? That's weird. When she tried to pull back, her husband and Kayla continued to communicate in private. Almost ended 2 marriages.
No.
Messy all around and not what swinging is meant to be. But what happens when a couple isn't respectful of partners' boundaries and put their own interests before their marriage? It's why I never liked my ex's phrase that swinging prevents cheating. Cheaters are cheaters in any relationship, monogamous or not. My ex said that he and his ex-wife had great communication and a healthy swinging relationship. And maybe that was the truth since they were both on the same page and never faced conflict in the time that they were together. But I'm glad that I didn't marry him or immediately agree to try swinging with him because seeing how he handled not getting what he wanted revealed plenty of red flags and terrible communication. I hope for the sake of who he ends up with next that he has worked on himself a bit because no one needs that energy in a relationship or in the non-monogamous community in general. And that is the end of that story.